Hey, what is up everybody? How are you guys doing? Thanks for coming and checking out this video, checking out my channel. I do appreciate it. This is Bluefoot Homestead. I want to talk about a couple different things today. Probably going to be two different videos, but definitely want to touch on the subject. Homesteading ain't easy. Yeah, I just went out today and went to go take care of the chickens. And I lost another one of my silkies and I lost one of my Cornish. Now Cornish, they are not the healthiest bird. They have a tendency to croak over randomly. And today I think one croaked over randomly. But I put a lot of time into those chickens. I put a lot of money into those chickens, and it's really kind of a bummer to see kind of a failure with it, even though I don't really consider it a failure. It's just part of life, which is part of homesteading. Now, one thing that kind of got me sorry, it's a little bit hot in here if I'm like sweating. I'm in my garage and it's a warm day today. It's gonna be a warm week. But I was watching a Canadian prepper, okay? Not to kind of be negative on him or rip on him, but it's just something that I think some people should know about homesteading. Lately, he has been putting together a homestead. He went and bought some property with a house, I believe, and he's out there in his tractor and stuff like that. He's taking a lot of pride in what he's doing. He's putting a lot of thought into what he's doing, and he's probably going to be successful at it. But here's the thing, it takes a lot of work. And if he's running a full-time business and doing all this stuff and then having to go travel to a homestead to maintain a homestead, that's going to be very difficult. And I've seen some of his videos in the past when he's had people on for cooking and stuff like that. He's like, I don't want to deal with any of that. I'm just going to throw a lasagna in the oven and that's how I'm going to cook. And I think he's actually taken lasagnas out to survival situations out in the woods and stuff like that for the dinner for the night. Well, you know, to each his own. I think it's going to be a little more difficult. But when it comes to homesteading, not only do you have to worry about a loss of livestock, animals, chickens, you know, walking out and just seeing half of your flock of sheep dead from parasites that were in the soil or something like that. You got to come over those things. You have to figure out what it is. You got to fix it. You got to continuously improve. But with Canadian Prepper, I don't think he is necessarily, at least up till this point, maybe this has changed. He's had, I forget his name, but I followed him before. He's a homesteader, had him on to kind of consult and stuff like that. So hopefully a couple light bulbs are going to go off for him. Now, it takes a lot of time. It takes all of my time. And I could use another 10 hours a day to be able to keep par with all the stuff that needs done around the homestead. You know, when it comes to being pretty much off-grid and stuff like that, you have to learn to produce your own food. You have to take a lot of care. For instance, my garden, my 1,600 square foot garden that I have, the hay baler can go through it right now and get a bale of hay. I have a lot of grass growing. It's not going very well. When I did that video, I said that there was a lot of seed. I was trying to kill the seed off. I took it off and watered it right away, put the tarp back on, left the tarp for 4 months. Things were growing underneath the tarp. And I took that tarp off and let the sunshine hit it, and it just exploded. So it's going to take a lot of work to cultivate that soil to be a good garden. I'm going to have almost nothing this year. I've went out, I've fertilized, I'm trying to take care of it the best I can, but as far as pulling weeds and grass management and stuff like that is way out of my control. I could go out there 5 days straight, all day of sunshine, taking care of that situation, and it's still not going to take care of it. By the time I got to the other end of the garden, the first part's already going to be growing. Yeah, it's almost like it's a constant uphill battle. The odds are kind of stacked against you. Now, if you've been doing it for 15 years, 20 years, you have it down to a science, everything is like a well-oiled machine, you're going to have it. But it takes a while to get there. You cannot just go jump in, buy a property, plant a whole bunch of fruit trees, plant a garden, and give it 1 hour a day or give it 15 minutes a day of walking around trying to maintain everything that you're doing, especially when it comes to animals. It's just not going to work. It is not going to work. you know, and regarding Canadian Prepper, he is going to have to dedicate a whole lot of his free time, taken away from his family, taking away from his business, taking away from a lot of things in his life that he is normal to and used to be able to get what he wants to get, which is a homestead and self-sufficient and off-grid. I wish him the best of luck. But to anybody that's maybe thinking about doing it, I say it in almost every single video, I highly suggest getting out of the cities, getting out of well-populated areas, get out into the country and start homesteading. But it takes time, it takes practice, it takes failures, lots of failures. I've been coming across, a pretty good failure every couple days, and it's like, okay, well, how can I remedy this situation? How can I make it better? And try to go from there, and it's probably going to fail again. I'm going to have to do this multiple times until I actually get a system that works and a solution that works to be able to make everything profitable, if you will, to be able to yield vegetables and keep my chickens alive and stuff like that. Now, my chickens, yes, I lost a Silky and I lost a Cornish today. The Silky is just gone. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he escaped. I had one escape before and ended up drowning in one of the water bowls for the bigger birds. And the Cornish just croaked over. So, that's kind of part of it. There isn't a whole lot I can learn from that. I plugged up every hole I could where the Silkies are. Try to go from there. But yeah, I just kind of want to mention that it's not an easy process. Definitely prepare as much as you can getting into it. And I don't know. I wish everybody luck. I still recommend doing it. It doesn't matter where you are. Try to get an acre. You can do a whole lot on an acre. And start the process, because maybe SHTF isn't in our face right now, but I don't think it's very far away. And there is still a little bit of time to start taking care of all this stuff. It's not just buying seeds, it's just not buying tourniquets and freeze-dried food. There's going to be a lot more to it. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on the subject and just kind of let you guys know what's going on. Anybody that's in the process of doing this, just starting out, stick with it. Wish you the best of luck. And I mean that sincerely. And even Canadian Prepper, I hope he kind of changes his mindset a little bit to make that a successful endeavor that he's going on. I definitely think it's a smart choice. I think he bought a lot of acreage. He's got a lot going for him there. But he's got some learning to do. He has definitely got some learning to do. Luckily, I'm doing this pretty much on my own. He's got a family, he's got kids that he can put to work. Slavery, all homesteaders put their kids to work. It's a good thing. They learn a lot in life by doing that. Work for something and you get something in return instead of just getting free handouts and free government assistance. It's a very good thing. So he has that on his side. I really hope that anybody that's out there, going through this, if you're going through struggles, if you're going through failures and stuff like that, stick with it. I'm going through this right now myself, and it's hard some days. It's definitely hard some days. Like, what am I doing? I just keep doing this and failing, doing this and failing. Now, I do want to add in here towards the end, it'll probably be a little series of videos that'll come out with my garden. I think that is too steep of an uphill battle for me to be able to fight. Like I said, it's going to take years to be able to cultivate the ground properly. I'm growing a large amount of corn. I have about 20 out of 70 that are actually popping up. Now, corn doesn't like grass, it doesn't like competition, so I doubt those other ones are going to sprout and grow. But there's a couple that were in a better location in the garden that they're going to grow, so we'll see what happens from that. But that I'm going to have to cultivate. I'm not going to be growing those in any other fashion than in the ground, and hopefully I can curb the flooding issue that I have a little bit, but I'm going to have to work on that. So with the failure, I'm going to come up with a solution. I'm going to try that. It might fail again. I'm going to come up with another solution, and so on and so on. But since it's such a large uphill battle with my garden, I'm probably going to switch to raised beds. Now, Living Traditions went and got some raised beds. They switched to raised beds for a completely different reason, but I started looking around at the different raised beds and stuff like that, and the ones that they got are quite expensive. It's a very simple thing with very simple products that build it, but they charge a lot of money for it. A couple coatings and stuff like that that are going to make it last a little bit longer. But I'm probably going to go with the ones that they went with, or something very similar. There's lots of different companies out there that do pretty much the same premier high-end raised beds. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on it little by little. I think I'm going to buy 5. I'm going to need 48 of those raised beds to cover my garden. And that's a lot of money. I think it's like $8,700. So that's a lot of dough. And I don't want to spend that right now. I don't want to spend that ever for some roofing materials and a couple bolts. You know, it's ridiculous. But I think I'm going to have to do it. So I think I'm going to get 5 at first, just do the far end of the garden, plant those, see if I can still manage the weeds. The thing is I have tall grass all the way around. We have a guy that's going to be coming in and baling the hay soon, and that is going to throw seeds everywhere. So I think even with a 2-foot raised bed, I'm going to be getting those seeds flying into my garden, and I'm going to have issues. Luckily, even though it's a lot of work, from seed when grass starts, it's easy to manage. It's the grass that comes in that has very strong roots up from underneath that you'll never be able to get rid of. You'll have to dig out the whole underneath of the raised bed to get the root system out and stuff like that. I kind of do it with my other raised beds that I have right now, and it's tough. I have to basically dig the whole raised bed in the spring before I plant to try to get rid of as much as I can. And so far it's been fairly successful, but it's a lot of work. Now when it comes to 48 of those, I'm going to have to do something. So I may lay down some plywood. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to go about it yet, but I think that's what I'm going to do. So I have an issue, I have a failure, I'm going to come up with a solution, and now I'm going to see what I can do about making that whole thing better and more profitable, if you want to say it that way. So that's part of homesteading. It ain't easy. It definitely ain't easy, and you got to be kind of strong on dealing with failures when you go down this road. So I'm dealing with it right now. Maybe you guys are too. I think everybody deals with it constantly. There's always something going on. So got to be able to fight through those things. And I hope everybody the best on getting through hard times if your homestead isn't going right. So stick with it, push through, come up with solutions, make it better. Gonna be good to go. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching this video. Hit that subscribe button if you like. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, till next time, I'll talk to you then. Peace. Oh, this is 4K. Peace.